Welcome to Speed's coverage of the 43rd SCCA National Championship Runoffs. The Runoffs is the pinnacle of SCCA amateur competition. Drivers from around the country gather every year, not for prize money, but for pride, bragging rights, and camaraderie. 25 classes and over 700 competitors will do battle at an all-new Runoffs venue, Heartland Park, Topeka, only the 5th different track in 43 years of competition. And today we'll see history made as a champion is crowned for the first time in the all-new Spec Miata class. Whenever you have a brand new class at the Runoffs, it's hard to sort through the list of drivers and come up with a guy that you think is going to win the race. Just one driver, especially when you have over 60 entered in the class. But to win the Runoffs, you have to have a history of winning races, and these three drivers have exactly that. Even though this is Tony Coelho's first Runoffs, he is a former Miata Cup champion. He won the June Sprints and the National here in June. He's got to be a favorite. But there are others gunning for the crown as well. Matt Cross has one win in 2006 and claimed the Northern Pacific Division crown. And Tony Rivera, he finished second at the Runoffs in E-Production in 2004, 3 national wins in 2006. Just 3 of many drivers with a shot at the inaugural Spec Miata crown.
With the huge success of the Spec Miata class, you can always expect tons of race cars at every race. Now, it's also a class that has bred some new drivers that weren't racing before. One of those is Mark Bennett. Now, Mark Bennett started racing this Mazda in 2003, and he must have learned a lot because he comes to the Runoffs with 5 wins so far. Now, if you followed Speed World Challenge, you'll recognize this paint job of that of Bob Stretch, longtime pro competitor. Bob has had a stellar year with his Mazda. He has won so far 6 times, would like to add the national championship. Andrew Cadell started his racing in 1998, racing go-karts, decided to try oval racing, did a little oval racing, but really liked the road courses. Got into the Spec Miata class, comes here today with 3 wins. Now, any of these guys is totally capable of winning the national championship. Who will it be?
The 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. To win the Runoffs is to find the holy grail for amateur competitors in the SCCA. To win here means you have beaten the best of the best in your class from around North America, and you wear the crown of national champion. On the line next, the inaugural national title in Spec Miata. Welcome to Heartland Park in Topeka, Kansas. This is the first time in the 43-year history of the SCCA Runoffs that they have come to Heartland Park. In fact, only 4 other venues have had the honor of hosting this event in its 43-year history. Now, the weather has turned a bit. It is cold, it is damp, and it should be a wild one. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Till, along with Dorsey Schrader. Jim Trado, Mike Johnson will be down in pit lane. Dorsey, it's wet out there. What can these competitors expect?
Slippery. It's 2.5 miles with 14 corners, Brian, and they used to come out of turn 14 under the drag strip. That's no longer there. This front straightaway narrows. That's called the kink. This area right here, congestion. Turn 1 and 2 are wider than they used to be. Good passing in 6 and 8. But this is one slippery surface.
Well, and this is one very, very competitive class, Spec Miata.
New class this year. Now, all the Miatas made, no matter what year they were made, can run in this class. That makes them all equal to one another. There's a jillion of them. Actually, there's 56 starting today.
Not quite a jillion, but anything from 1990 to 2005, you can run it. For the stories in pit lane, let's go down to Jim Trado.
And Brian, a driver starting back here in 22nd is Ken Sutherland. Why do we bring his name up? He was the fastest of the drivers on Tuesday here in qualifying. It was a very wet day. He was the fastest guy of the bunch. Guess what? He's from the Northwest. He races all the time in the wet. He made a very late decision just now to come down here with rain tires. He changed his mind twice, he told me. So look for him to move forward quickly. He's used to racing in the wet. Now let's check in with Mike Johnson.
Well, Jim, the one guy we haven't talked about yet is our pole sitter, Blake Clements. He's actually down here on an intermediate racing tire. He took a week off of school from Texas A&M University, come down for his first runoffs. I said, hey, Blake, how did you get the pole? Where'd you find that extra time? He said, I just needed that last session, found a little spot on the track that worked great for me. He's got his first pole. It's his first runoffs. He wants to keep this car to the front all the way.
Tire choice is going to be the issue today. It's not raining presently, but it did this morning. There are puddles, Brian. It's going to be a paramount choice of tire.
All about gambles here in Spec Miata, the 2006 SCCA National Championships. The inaugural run for Spec Miata next. The 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Spec Miata up next, and it should be a wild one. 56 cars took times. It's not a record, but it's just only 2 cars short of the record, which was 58 Spec racers back in 1993 at Road Atlanta.
And the real story, Brian, is the racetrack itself. Of course, it rained pretty hard. There's still puddles. It's still wet, but the tire choice, that's going to be a big issue.
It will be a huge issue, Dorsey. You're rolling the dice. It's a gamble. Blake Clements on the pole. We heard them say he's going to start on intermediates. Andrew Cadell outside. He's on slicks. Talk about a gamble.
A lot of guys on rain tires. I think Sammy Valafar in 3rd place is on a full rain tire setup right now.
So you got 3 different setups throughout the first 3 cars. You take a look at the second page. Mark Bennett, he's a divisional champion from the Central Division, and Bob Stretch, we talked about him in the beginning of the show in 18. He's a Southwest Division champion, so you got some good talent there in the second 10.
This is by far the biggest event as far as car entry that we'll see. This is the 3rd page of drivers, and like you said, 56 cars. Is only 30 of them so far.
Harry Manning down in 25th. He's an ex-national champion in the 2003 Showroom Stock B class, so obviously a lot of talent there. The 4th page. Looking on through, Jason Ott, a lot of talent there as well. He won a division, as did Ken Zollner right beside him. On down through the next 10. Yes, the next 10. This is 41 through 50. We said 56 cars took time. It is a huge field. It's a big challenge just to get them lined up behind the pace car.
Well, you got 2.5 miles of racetrack and 53 cars as you look through the rest of the field here. That's taken up better than half of the track, I would think.
Well, you can see the racetrack itself. There is somewhat of a dry line that has been formed from other races that have competed already. Problem for the 0-3. Bill Christian from the Southern Pacific Division has had a problem, and he has stopped already.
Got damage on the right front corner right here. Now, I don't know if that happened in this stoppage or whatever the deal might be. We haven't seen it.
Getting a report that he hit the wall down the front straightaway on the pace lap.
That surprised me. I saw while they were trying to scrub their tires, I saw one guy get loose and almost spin the car, so that's probably what did happen.
Have a couple of onboards for you. The number 77 of Sammy Valafar, he'll roll off 3rd.
And a little further back in the field, you're going to have the number 80 car. This is Matt Cross, who qualified in the 10th spot.
So those should be some great shots for you as well. For the latest stories, I should say, from down in pit road, let's go to Mike Johnson.
Well, hey guys, check this out. This is the back of the qualifying grid, and I want you to notice these lines down here. This is all the disqualified cars. 15 cars were disqualified, and kudos to the SCCA. Usually in races before, we see that a lot of guys don't know when they win until they get home on Monday because of all the post-tech inspections. SCCA has worked really hard to change that this year, to get it all changed, to get it all the tech done before the race. Back up top.
Now the cars lining up for the start here. You know, a lot of those times disallowed, not kicked out completely, but just times from different qualifying sessions when they found problems with them. But Spec classes, you do everything you can to find an advantage.
Brian, there's too many cars for all of the cars to be on the dry line. So that being said, half of these cars are going to be in the wet.
So you're expecting the grand crumblage when we get to turn 1, as our friend David Hobbs would say, the green flag waves. We are racing in Spec Miata, the first national championship title on the line, and a good run for Andrew Cadell outside. Right on board, Sammy Valafar looking at the traffic out back. Cadell leads to turn 1.
This could be the equivalent to NASCAR's big one. If this goes wrong, any one of these guys spins in the middle of this pack will cause a huge problem. There's a car.
There
right
we
there.
go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars off track so far, fighting to get back on. And of course the problem is fighting to get back on. It is muddy over there.
That was the forward part of the pack. Look at the car still screaming into that corner.
And what they're going to bring back on the racetrack, Dorsey, is mud. And that is going to be a huge mess when they come back. Take a look.
This is down and into turn 1 complex. Now you watch as the 3rd place car spins there.
3rd and 4th got together. I think he had some help, Dorsey.
And it stacks everybody up. Now it's just a big shoving contest. Everybody trying to find a place on the racetrack.
Saw the 11 of Mark Bennett involved in that as well. Out the back of the 77
This is your 3rd place car. Let's see if he gets hit here. Yeah, I'd say so.
You think? Bob Stretch right behind him in his black Miata with that orange and green lettering. They get through, but look at the gap back to the rest of the field.
Well, that split the front guys away pretty soundly because
Stretch
Bob
has a problem.
Stretch pulling off the racetrack into a safe area. He must have broken something.
You can't help but wonder, I think he got bumped around a little bit there at the start. You can't help but wonder if he doesn't have a problem as well. So now, battles on back through the pack. The 17, the 54.
I see a car.
Ron Willenberg in that 54 trying to get past the 17 of Tony Coelho.
Not far behind them, there's a car with a lot of damage on it that must have been involved in that shoving contest.
Coelho in that 17 car is running 6th right now. That red Miata right there. Now Coelho's brother, younger brother, Nicky Coelho, won the Formula Continental National Championship for the 2nd time here at Heartland Park. So he's a 2-time national champion. Now Tony would like to claim one for himself. He won the June Sprints.
This was a huge, huge advantage for these guys up front, for Anthony Coelho in this top 5 or 6 cars that weren't involved in that melee. It's got now the racetrack is cluttered with all kind of different races. Look at here.
Check this out. This looks like Miata Mania on the freeway.
Oh,
there you go.
This could start it off pretty big.
Here we go.
Guys dodging, ducking everywhere, trying to find a hole to get through. Good job.
Yeah, he got it turned back around, and that one could have been absolutely huge. But you see all those puddles, and you get just a little nudge from one of your, quote, friends.
Yeah.
And it could go
somebody on the outside with way too much speed. Yeah, I mean, the potential's here for a big one, you know.
Saw the black 66.
Oh, and he's just got pushed off, knocked his bumper off. Lost a rear bumper in that exchange.
It was David Watts in the black 66 mixing it up in there, and now you've got these guys up front trying to get through turn 3, and that one has to be slick right now as well.
Look at this coming on the front straightaway here, coming off the last corner. Somebody gets bump tagged, the 41 around in front of everybody. Now spins the car, does a pretty good job right there of not backing into anyone, and all the people behind him.
I think it was the 63 of Brian Post that got into the 41.
There's a good look at it. Now spinning right in front of all those cars is a recipe for disaster. Everybody did a great, oh, and look at that car, just the blue car back up, just did a wheelie over the top of somebody else.
Stephen Johnson behind the wheel of that green and blue 41 actually did a great job to get it turned around and pointed in the right direction. Meanwhile, Andrew Cadell continues to lead. Then Tony Rivera, that's the first 2. Looking back, riding on board right now, car 80, Matt Cross. Cross having a good day. He's moved up to 5th from his 10th place starting position. There's been a lot of excitement in Spec Miata, and why wouldn't there be? 56 cars take the green, but there'll be only one champion.
Spec Miata racer Mark Pombo is a racer and a military veteran. Artist Britt Collins is doing something very special in Washington, D.C. with your image. Mark, tell us about it.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be chosen to represent the modern-day soldier from Operation Iraqi Freedom. There's a mural on display representing the modern-day soldier dating all the way back to the Revolutionary War, and Britt Collins, the author, chose me to represent the modern-day soldier.
That is huge for that young man, but unfortunately right now, parked on the sideline. Mark Pombo, problems with his Miata, has pulled it off to the side. What an honor, though, to be recognized in that fashion. Good for Mark, but this is not good for him and his hopes for a national championship.
You see right there, Mr. Coelho has got his car running, fastest race lap so far. This is the 80 of Matt Cross, who was in 10th when he qualified. Now he's already up to 4th place, doing a great job.
Up to 4th, and only, well, he's inside 3 seconds back from the leader, so that is exceptional driving on the part of Cross right now on his way forward, and that is Tony Coelho right in front of him, so he's going to try to get by him and pick up positions a little bit. All right, Dorsey, take a look here. We're riding on board. Give us a lap around the racetrack from On Board with Cross.
We're actually on the back part of the racetrack right now, Brian. That hard braking. This is setting up for a series of corners that will bring you back to the front straightaway in the start-finish line. Very slow. You can see we've got a dry line that has developed, and everybody's staying pretty much on it. It's wet to the outside, so to make a pass, you're going to have to make that decision. Here are the last 2 corners, this right, and we saw the crash up ahead earlier when the car spun. This is, oh, and a little loose.
You can see the sheen, how wet it is offline.
Now, this is to run up the 1,700-foot front straight. Now, this is brand new. It's no longer on the drag strip. You see the start-finish line up ahead, and it's going to narrow down, Brian. It's going to kink to the left, and they call that alpha. It's not really even a number. There it is right there, but we've seen trouble there. Turn 1 and 2 are wide open compared to what they used to be. They used to be just about stop corners, but you go over the brow of a hill right here, you do your braking, right-hander, then a quick switchback. This is where the crash happened at the beginning of the run. Now you take a run down this hill, a little elevation change. It goes downhill into a carousel, a 180. This is turn 3, and you see it rises in elevation a little bit. You come off that corner, and you run down into a series of 2 right-hand corners. It's really, when the race car more is like a continual right-hand carousel. This is the first right-hander, turn 4, and then it leads directly to the next one.
Just a little breakup from our onboard cameras. The weather really, really treacherous right now. And oh, right in front of him, I believe that was Coelho. It is Tony Coelho off the outside of the track. Just got loose coming off the corner there.
Got in that wet, and it's all it took. He lost traction with all 4 wheels and slid right off the track. The ceiling is really low here today, so we've got an airplane up there that's giving us these shots, onboards, and there's an Air Force base right next to this place, and he's already been warned they will shoot him down.
Yeah, they have an issue with him being up too high. Look at Coelho off the outside there, just the car just skating off. Such difficult conditions right now.
It is difficult because every lap really changes with guys going on and off the racetrack. You know, it's drying out. What tires did you choose? If you chose a full rain tire, a full treaded tire, and it's drying out, you have less grip available to you than someone who went with a slick or went with an intermediate.
Well, it's interesting. Andrew Cadell, our leader, started on rain tires. It'll be interesting to see how long those tires stay on his car, because rain tires need that moisture to stay cool. That being said, it is a very cool day.
You don't get much cooler than this. It's not freezing, but it's not far from it either.
Yeah, absolutely. So Matt Cross doing a good job. Now Tony Coelho trying to work his way back up. We'll have to see how many positions he lost with that off-course excursion. Probably not too many, but certainly got his attention. For more on Tony Coelho and what's going on with him, let's get down to Jim Trado.
We're checking in with his dad, Nino. He knows exactly what's going on. No radio communication, but I mentioned to you via my headset, he went out track. Didn't look like he lost too many spots, though, Nino.
No, I think it's early in the race, and he's been turning good lap times. Track is as slippery as it is. I think he's got a good chance. The guys in front of him, everybody has an opportunity to make a mistake, so we'll see what happens.
What kind of tire choice did you guys make today?
We went with the rain tires. Doesn't seem like we're going to get much drying conditions in the next half hour, so I think he made the best bet.
The thoughts from pit road of the June Sprints winner, guys?
Well, I tell you, he's right about that. It's so cold out, Brian, that it's not going to be as bad as it would be if it was a summer day and you took those rain tires and ran them in this condition. But it's still wet, but there's no puddling, and you see no spray, no rooster tail coming out of these cars, which would indicate to you that the racetrack was wet enough to run wet tires.
Tony Coelho slipped back to 6th with that little off-course excursion. Let a couple of other cars slip by as well. So he's going to have his work cut out for him if he's going to work back up to the front. Spec Miatas doing battle here, Heartland Park, Topeka, Kansas, in the 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. We'll see who can... The 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoff Spec Miata class on tap for you here today. 56 cars take the green flag under very, very difficult conditions on the racetrack right now. And the battles, well, they are everywhere, as you would expect, with 56 cars doing battle. On board, the number 77, Sammy Valafar, looking out the back of his car right now. Valafar in 8th. Started 3rd, but he was part of that problem down in turn 1, the Grand Crumblage, as we call it.
Yeah, I mean, he got involved with all those other cars, and that split the field. The guys in the front part of that weren't in that, they've got a great big lead going because of it.
Good battle for 3rd right here. Tony Rivera in the number 27 doing all
crash,
he can.
Brian, someone in the wall. You see the skid marks coming down into it. Dropped off the outside. One little silver Miata. Don't have the number, but
Tony Rivera trying to hold on to 2nd place.
Look at the windshield. Look how how dirty our windshield's getting. That's a problem with this kind of drying condition. There's no rain to clean the windshield off with, and all these cars are spraying mud and dirt.
Yeah, you can see how dirty the car is from the front, and as you said, you can see it as well, trying to look out the windshield. Rivera trying to hold on to second. Brad Rampelberg is moved up to third past Matt Cross, so he's on his way to the front. As I said, good battles all around Heartland Park, Topeka, and why wouldn't there be with 56 cars? There's always going to be somebody to race with.
Well, the lead cars will sooner or later catch up with the tail end of this huge pack of cars, and that will break their momentum and slow them up a little bit.
All right, you're Sammy Balafar. You're looking out this windshield. You know it's dirty. You're tempted to reach down and hit the windshield wiper.
Don't do it. Don't do. You know not to do it. So do I. It'll be just a big mud smear if you do that.
Unless he's got the squirter bottle full of fluid. Oh, it's sideways there for Rivera. Big lurid slide coming off of the bus stop.
Did a great job at managing the slide, but nonetheless it cost him time.
Rampelberg there in the orange Miata to the outside, trying to get by him. It doesn't get any closer than this.
Guys giving each other just enough room.
And the problem is they're varying amounts of grip as you see him slide. Remember, there's a drier line and then a wetter line, and you don't want to get caught out on the wet line.
That's what I was talking about. If you're going to pass somebody, you're going to have to move off, and you're going to get at least 2 tires in the slippery stuff.
Great battle. Tony Rivera in the red Miata. Then
he loses grip.
Oh, and he slides to the outside. Rampelberg in the orange Miata, and then Matt Cross in the 80. You ride with Cross.
Rivera lost a little grip, got a little slide coming up the last corner. Now watch this draft. Watch this draft. Down into turn 1, we're going to go. He lifted a little bit right there.
He's afraid of what's about to happen.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. Not ready for that.
Oh, and the 54 gets in there as well, trying to make a move. John Willenberg, he wants a part of it. Cars look like they have reasonable grip right now, Dorsey. They're not sliding everywhere. Maybe that's part of the problem. You don't know where it's going to slide.
Well,
look at Rampelberg up the inside.
That's a good move. That's inside that long left-hand carousel. Not enough to stay there, though.
Awesome stuff. Matt Cross not letting him get away in the yellow Miata. Right there behind Rivera in the red, 27. Rampelberg in the orange, number 12.
There you go. That'll work.
Got him. Can Cross get him as well? Cuts underneath, side by side. He's on the wrong side for this one.
One car off track on the backside right behind these guys.
A lot of agricultural driving going on right now. You want rain tires on because you want the treads for when you go off in the mud.
Well, it's not as bad, believe it or not, as I thought it was going to be. This track is drying.
Rivera has lost the spot. Now Matt Cross will try to take another from him as they head down to the bus stop. Cross, I don't believe, close enough to make the move now. But it doesn't get much closer than that. Really closes up under braking. Matt Cross trying to pick up a position. He wants to move up into the top 3. We'll find out who can hold on to win the inaugural National Championship in Spec Miata. The 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoffs at the drop of the green. The field, 56 cars of them, streamed down to turn 1, and well, you can expect what happened.
Bump, bang, push, shove. No room for all these cars.
Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. How about Onboard?
Ouch. Oop.
I want the bodywork concession.
Yeah. You need
everybody back underway, and then a problem for Steven Johnson on the front straightaway.
Good job of everybody avoiding that as he snaps her back around.
A little stunt driving going on there. Good battles here. Problem for the 17, though. He goes sliding off to the outside. That was Tony Coelho.
Of course, there's no grip out there. It's still pretty wet early in this race.
Gets back on track, but look at this battle here between the 27, Tony Rivera, and the number 12, Brad Rampelberg. Great racing going on there.
Rivera lost grip and left that door open. That's all it took. And then look at this mess. More turn 3 stuff.
Little problem there. Saw the 75 of Michael Collins in there as well. So he's not having it his way. But I'll tell you what, the number 88, Andrew Cadell, definitely having it his way right now. 7 seconds is his lead over the second place car of Rampelberg. And the reason that he has it, because everybody else has been fighting behind him, Mike Johnson.
Down here with Roger Cadell, your Andrew's father. Who made that decision to go with the slick tires before the race?
Actually, we make a decision as a group. Andrew makes the final call. but it was an easy call today. They're a production tire, so they're just shaved down production tires, so they're not bad when you cut them way down. So we're in good shape with the Toyotas.
All right, well, very nervous father right now. He's been pacing back and forth, almost wearing down this concrete. And I did a little recon before the race, and looks like the top 3 guys right now are all on that shaved front tire. So, but I did feel a little drizzle about 5 seconds ago. So, you know, the weather could still change.
Well, there you go, Brian. That's what we talked about at the opening of the show. Now these guys are on full race tires, but it is a street tire that has been shaved, the tread shaved down on it, so it has some grip even in the wet.
On board right now, the number 77, Sammy Valafar. He started 3rd, remember. He has dropped back to 8th, part of it because of that first turn melee, but I think perhaps he gambled in the wrong direction as well at the start. Maybe he doesn't have the tires that he needs. Look at the damage to the 67 right behind him. You saw Aaron McSpadden with a lot of body work damage right there on the right front.
Well, for instance, a full treaded tire or a rain tire, if you want to call it that, versus the shaved down non-treaded tire is about 1 second a lap in lap speed.
McSpadden up the inside, gets past Valafar as they come out of turn 3. I think Valafar's got issues right now, Dorsey. He just doesn't have the grip that he needs.
He's probably on full reins, and he won't have the grip that way. And also, he's got some visibility problems. Remember, our camera shots are usually more clear to look at than your naked eye can see.
Well, Aaron McSpadden got past. I believe Eric Foss in the 48 got past as well. So right now, Valafar going the wrong direction. Take a look from outside, out of turn 3.
Just not down to the inside. The door is open, and that's all it took.
Oh, so it took a little
then
of
he
that,
takes
too.
a little slide checkup, a little hip check.
Well, now we know why McSpadden has a little bit of bodywork damage. McSpadden got through, but Eric Foss got past him as well.
It's starting to rain. Now you see right on the windscreen there, a few droplets coming down. This could change the complexity.
I was going to say, you think it was a mess before?
Yeah, it's going to turn really greasy now.
Certainly Andrew Cadell doesn't want to see that if he's on those slicks. And as you said, even though they're shaved tires, they're not going to channel water away if it starts to really collect on the racetrack. Good battles here. Look at this, a little pushing going on. David Watts trying to hold on to his position.
And you can see from the naked eye looking at the track how much mud there is where these people tend to go off and come back on. That mud, once the water gets mixed with it.
Watts in the black 66 there, a little loose, and he is really under attack. I think he's about to be assaulted.
He just got assaulted.
30 of Austin Christian right behind him. Christian looking up the inside, trying to get past.
Going into the... He should get this done pretty well.
Oh, and the 41 puts it in there as well. Steven Johnson wants to make amends for the problem that he had on the front straightaway early on. Andrew Cadell continues to lead Spec Miata from the 2006 runoffs. The 2006 SCCA National Championship runoffs in Spec Miata. 56 cars took the green, and the battles continue around Heartland Park.
Saw the yellow flag there. There's the reason one of the red Miatas getting past now just came back on track from an on-course excursion. And, of course, right in front of this 6-car train.
He's getting freight train. Gary Bachman in that.
Oh, he tries to get inside, and the 47 leans on him, gives him a little door.
Gary Bachman there in the white Miata with the red highlights on it leads this train. But I mean, look at this battle. This is 17th on back. And this is awesome stuff. You know, once again, whether you're battling for the lead or 17th, you've got somebody to fight with, and there's definitely some pushing and shoving going on right now.
There's no question these guys are not afraid to lay the fender to somebody. We see it all the time. You need a body shop sponsor to run these cars.
Gary Bachman out in front. You see him go past there, and look at this side-by-side battle going on here. Two of them.
Starting to see some brake lockup and some tire smoke, which means that the racetrack itself is starting to dry enough to where these guys are getting brave in the brake zone.
So the 47, David Voden. Look at this.
See, I told you about visibility problems. Look, he's turned his windshield wiper on.
And that was a mistake.
It ruined that area.
Henry Van Verst in pit lane. That's not how you win a national championship. But, hey, you got to be able to see. Look at him scraping it off.
Caked on there. I mean, it's like concrete in there.
Yep, you got to be able to see if you're going to drive on the racetrack. And for Henry Van Verst, he couldn't. So to pit lane he goes and has a little service done back on track. Meanwhile, this battle continues to rage, and Gary Bachman still holding on to the point there. But right behind him, the 59,
And you see guys in the back of that pack with windshield wipers on, which means that they've got enough water from the rain that they think they can clean the windscreen.
It's actually the 56. Blake Clements really trying to come and get him. Clements in that silver and red. This is a battle for 15th and 16th right now. Bachman holding on to 15th. Clements right behind him.
That would be the upper 2/3.
Well, that is an excellent point, Dorsey. Remember, Clements took time off of school to come to the runoffs. He needs to finish as high as he can. Maybe he can take that back and have it count for a little bit of classroom credit if he can finish in the top 10. So
got some tire smoke coming out of the red car, the 4th place red car now, with a wheel and tire rub situation going on.
Some smoke out. Which car was it?
That red one right there. It's about to get some more.
Oh, the red.
Oh, it's the right
red
front.
Miata, huh?
Got red Miata there with the crashed right front fender.
Now, the 41, we saw him have his problems. Steven Johnson had his problems early on. He is trying to make up for it, coming back hard up through the field. Michael Neal in the black, number 4. Johnson gets the best of him there, gets around him on the outside of turn 4. That's a pretty good move, Dorsey.
Yeah, Michael Neal couldn't get the car turned down. I think he's probably on full rain tires at understeer. Wouldn't get down to the bottom of the racetrack. And leaving that hole open, we know what will happen.
Well, somebody's going to put a Miata in there if you give him a gap, and that's exactly what Steven Johnson did. I'm going to give him pretty high scores for the 360 on the front straightaway.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
That could have caused a huge wreck, but it got him out of danger because I wouldn't like to sit there sideways with the whole field coming at my door either.
I'm just thinking that the first 180 was pretty scary as he's looking backwards down the racetrack at all these cars coming at him. Battles all around the racetrack here in Spec Miata, and as I keep saying, you would expect it. 56 cars took the green, and we've only had a couple of retirements, so a lot of cars still out there. Michael Neal still trying to hold on. That's the 66 of David Watts right behind him, the black Miata with a red top, now trying to get past Neal.
And you can see the car squirming around. Part of that is because of the slippery nature of the racetrack. The other part of that is some of these cars on full treaded tires will squirm around that much.
Spec Miata action from the 2006 SCCA National Championships. The rain beginning to fall again. What will that do for Andrew Cadell?
Raising 3 boys is a lot of work. Running 3 race cars is a lot of work. But running 3 race cars for your 3 sons is a whole lot of work. Bill Christian, how did you get yourself in this position?
Well, it's just a competition with the boys. They started out with tricycles, elbowing each other, then bicycles, then go-karts. Now it's race cars, and they love it. We do as a family.
Well, now, looking at the 3 cars, 3 sons, do you have a favorite? Can you choose one above the other?
You know, they've all got their special talents. They all have their special expertise. I couldn't tell you which one will be across the finish line first, but I'm sure it'll be a yellow car.
All right, well, how about I'll go for one in the black driver suit.
Sounds great to me.
Wow, to run 3 sons. You see him right now caught up in the battle with 41. 29th and 31st, the boys running right now. So not having a great runoff, but they're having a great time, I feel certain. And you think they've got their hands full. Bob Stretch, that we saw earlier with his problems, has 5 sons under the age of 10. So it won't be long before Bob Stretch has the same problems that Mr. Christian does. He's going to have to be putting his boys in some race cars as well. Car's nice and clean, though, not a mark on him, and that's saying a lot right now for this class in these conditions.
Well, you can say that again. I mean, coming this far through the race, 13 laps into a race like this, on a track like this, it's hard to keep a race car clean. And he's under a lot of pressure. At 41, very aggressive.
I love Jonathan's occupation that he listed, slacker.
That's a good one.
Hey, if you can get it, why not? Austin Christian right behind him. Both of them, it's their first runoffs. We talked about that. And, you know, to come to your first runoffs is nerve-wracking enough, but to come under these conditions is really, really trying. So the boys doing a good job right now. Steven Johnson right up there in the middle of that mix. Talked about his problems earlier. We don't need to see any of that again. Looks like he's going to get a good run this time on Austin down the front straightaway. We'll see if he can get by him.
Steven Johnson's been really, really aggressive. He's smoking the tires, getting in the corners because he's running so hard now.
So hard to get it done down here in turn 1, though, with that kink in the straightaway right before it.
And then the slipperiness of turn 1 and 2 throughout the weekend has been noted as well, because everybody gets off the road, it seems like, at the apex of 1 and carries all the dirt out.
Of course, the other problem, you see a very definitive dry line forming, and now it's really slick in the damp off to the side, so tough to get it done. Right now, Austin kind of down in the damp. Johnson up in the dryer line, and a problem for the 54, John Willenberg. That was our third place car, so he's dropping back a little bit. You saw the 48 of Eric Foss go by him in that red Miata. So problems there for Willenberg, but he's gotten back past Foss, holding on to it. We'll have to see how many positions he lost as they come past the line this next time. Tony Rivera right in front of him in the red Miata, the number 27.
Oh, just got in too deep, gets this big slide going, and off the outside of the racetrack. It's a good save, as a matter of fact, but
he had gotten past.
This.
Yeah, ooh, that was scary.
Just got out from underneath him after he got to the outside of the grass.
Willenberg had gotten past Rampelberg and taken the position, but then had the problem. Look.
Yeah, or snaps right across in front of our camera car there.
On board with
Matt Cross.
Yeah, that was Matt Cross. So scary moment there for Willenberg, but he got back on track.
See what happened right there with the pass attempt? He got into the wet. As soon as he turned down into the wet, the car broke free, got loose on him. Good save. Really.
Yeah, he's on his way back, being aggressive, trying to get past Tony Rivera side by side through 4. And now into the braking zone here in 5. They'll run down the hill to that very slow turn 6.
If the car you're trying to pass stays on the dry line, it gives you no option but to try something where it's going to be slippery.
Eric Foss in the red Miata right behind with the lightning bolt. Has the catbird seat watching this battle right now. Battles all around the racetrack in the Spec Miata class from the 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoffs. Stick with us. The 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoffs right now. Andrew Cadell having it all his way, but his lead beginning to shrink. It was almost 8 seconds earlier. Now just 4 seconds the last time by. I say just 4 seconds. Still a long way to go, but he's definitely losing time. Only 3 laps to go. We'll see if he can hold on for the victory. Mike.
Well, I'm with Andrew's mom, Ruth. Now, you guys have been go-kart racing for 8 years, but you guys are very nervous down here. How come?
This is the biggest race of Andrew's life. I mean, yeah, you race and you get nervous every time, but this is the big one.
Has he put a lot of pressure on just this one event?
He's put a lot of pressure on himself. We just tell him to go out and race and do his best. That's all we've ever told him to do.
Well, he's doing exactly that, and I tell you guys, the rain is starting to come down a lot harder now than it was at the beginning.
And that is not good news. Cadell, second in the Northern Pacific Division this year, 3 wins in 7 tries, so obviously a good record, but he came from go-karts. This is a very different deal, Dorsey.
Well, he's got enough in hand, I think. I mean, there's 3 laps to go. He's got 4-second lead. Someone will have to close it better than a second a lap, and it's starting to rain. So what would I do? I'd go into conservation mode right now and just be smooth and precise.
Well, right now, Brad Rampelberg not letting up. He's on a charge, but talk about a charge. Look at this battle right here. That's the 58.
Too much
going
speed.
Past the 66.
Too much speed, could not make the corner for turn 1. We've seen it all weekend long. It's really a dirty corner down there.
He was past him for a minute.
Yeah, he was for a minute.
David Watts been mixing it up all day long in the middle of great battles. Watts in that black 66 with the red top. Now one of the Christian brothers, I believe, right behind him beginning to put the pressure on. This is great. These guys further back out of the top 25, but still, that doesn't mean they're not going to race. It's the 31 of Jonathan Christian right behind, and he gets the move done. Beautiful move there in turn 5.
And 25 is still better than halfway in the field.
We talk about the great battles all around the racetrack. Well, you know, with battles comes a little collateral damage, and we've seen some of that today. Look at this here. Whoops, excuse me.
Ooh, just too much speed, gets off the outside, and there's that old mud.
That was the 54, John Willenberg. A little collateral damage there.
You know, every lap you run around here, it's different. Here's the same thing. Goes off, gets in the mud puddle. Once you hit that, it piles up all of the mud inside your tire tray. Oh, he turns the lights on. Get out of the way.
I love that.
We're wrecking here. That was good. I like that.
What do you mean get out of the way? I'm busy wrecking, like you said, Dorsey.
Maybe he winked at him because I got you.
Oh,
now that's
we'll add a little insult to injury there. Willenberg having a hard time getting it back on track. Like I said, we'll have a little collateral damage. Willenberg is certainly part of that, and this battle just keeps on going. Jonathan Christian in the yellow Miata right behind the black number 66 of W. David Watts. And this battle has been going, I think, from the drop of the green, Dorsey. These guys have been stuck pretty much.
Oh, that's going to do it. 66, I think, got too far out that time. We'll see.
Collected it back. Christian right behind him. I don't know, Dorsey.
Maybe he didn't. It looked like he was loose out there, but certainly got a good run.
It's so hard to pass in turn one in these conditions. We've talked about it now. Christian not close enough to even think about it this time. If he thinks about it from there, that one will make the highlight reel.
Yeah, he'll do the same thing. Just get down there and not make the corner.
But he definitely closes the gap there in the braking zone. The best move I have seen today was the headlights.
The headlights were just perfect.
I love the blinking headlights.
Oh, man. And here's the 67. We've seen this car, and it's been battling. I mean, it's got dents everywhere. The front end's all dented up. Doors are dented. He's been in a battle today.
That's Aaron McSpadden right there in the gray Mazda Miata. Up to 7th. That is a good run for him. He started back in 12th, so he is on his way up to the front, and I'm sure he's taking advantages of some other people's woes, but you can't take anything away from anybody today who has stayed on track and picked up positions. That's what you've got to do in difficult conditions.
You see it spitting rain again right there off the last corner coming on the front straightaway. A point by right here, or he's acknowledging his pit crew is what was happening.
Yep, 17 laps in the books.
That
he was acknowledging
one
the
to go.
flagger. 1 lap to go for Andrew Cadell. The lead down now to 3.5 seconds. He picked up the pace, though. He had slowed down for several laps. Now he is back on pace. The 12 of Brad Rampelberg had been moving up on him, but now the gap pretty much staying the same. Look at this battle, 47 and 26.
26
David Voden in the 47.
Oh, 26 gave him a little extra speed there to try to loosen him up. Put the bumper to him.
Steve Ott in the red, number 26. Now he's going to try to go around the outside. He got a good run onto the front straightaway. David Voden in the blue and white Miata. We'll see if Ott can get him down to turn 1. We keep talking about how difficult it is to do down there. Is he close enough?
Incoming. Oh, man.
Step away from the guardrail.
Yes, but now can he make the corner at that speed?
He got it down inside, and yes, takes the position away. Great move by Ott. Passes in turn 1, one of the more difficult places right now, and makes the pass, makes it cleanly, and now beginning to pull away.
Nice setup. That all set up off the last corner on the front straightaway.
Great job by those guys battling hard. This man in the blue, number 88, Andrew Cadell. You heard his mom say, this is the biggest race of his life. He's won go-kart races, but to win here at the SCCA National Championships will be the biggest win of his life in the biggest race of his life. Down the front straightaway, just a couple more gear shifts. One more, the checkered flag will wave, the crew celebrates, and Andrew Cadell takes the inaugural Spec Miata National Championship in the SCCA.
And he did it without getting his car dirty. That's almost impossible, which means he stayed out in front of everybody so far.
Young Andrew Cadell will make the record books. The emotion on the part of his family, and why would there not be? He makes the record books and takes the inaugural national championships. What a feat under difficult conditions for this young man. We'll be back to all the celebrations when we come back to Heartland Park. Welcome back to the 2006 SCCA National Championship Runoff. Spec Miata, great results there for Andrew Cadell.
No doubt about it. Brad Rampelberg, second place.
Very happy driver right there, Mike.
Andrew Cadell, congratulations, your first Runoffs victory, your first attempt. How's it feel?
Oh, it feels great. That rain stuff this morning just gave everyone so much trouble, and we decided to put on the slicks, and it turned out to be the right call.
Now, your mom told us this is the most important race of your life. Tell us what it means to win a national championship.
Man, this is a whole family-driven thing. My grandpa drove the motorhome back here. We don't think we're able to race next year. We're out of money after this year, so just gotta thank so many people. My grandpa, grandma, mom, dad.
All right, I'm sorry to break you loose, but I gotta go. Congratulations.
Well, you can hear the emotion in that young man's voice. To not see him back next year would be a shame after winning a national championship. Certainly hope he can be back, Dorsey.
No question. It'd be nice to defend, but he will always be the first winner ever in Spec Miata.
He goes down in the record books. Great pictures from Matt Cross with our onboard cameras. Tony Coelho trying to get back to the front after his problems early on. We saw a great battle. Steven Johnson in the 41 gave us that great pirouette down the front straightaway. That was some excitement.
The entire thing was excitement. I really expected it to be a big wreck, and these guys, hats off to them. They kept it on the racetrack for the most part.
They kept it much cleaner than we thought they would. So hats off to everybody in Spec Miata who took a chance to come and compete in a brand new class this year in the SCCA, and they made a great show for everybody. Andrew Cadell will take his trip around this racetrack with the checkered flag, and that is a special moment for that young man.
Yeah, that's a great special moment. Hopefully he'll get his mom and dad, his grandma and grandpa, and they'll get him, load that car down, and there's your headlights.
Little flash of the headlights there, and just a look at some of the action in Spec Miata. It was a great one from here in Heartland Park, Topeka, but then again, the runoffs always are. For Jim Trado, Mike Johnson, Dorsey Schrader, I'm Brian Till. Make sure you catch all of the SCCA National Championship runoff shows right here on Speed.